After spending countless nights under the stars, out camping, and many days out on the trail, getting dirty and getting after it, you kind of figure out what gear works well for you and holds up and gives you a little bit of those creature comforts that you need. And right here, I have 10 items that I have pulled from my vehicle. Everything here on the table that we're going to talk about today is used. I carry it with me. Some of this stuff has a story behind it. And I've got gear that's kind of small, a little bit large. We've got gear that's inexpensive to stuff that's a little more expensive. And whether you're looking for gear for yourself or for a gift for somebody, I think you're gonna get some good ideas here. Welcome to TrailRecon. I'm Brad, and let's get started. All right, two quick things before we get started. One, everything we're going to talk about today you can find at TrailRecon.com. I've created a link down below where you can go grab all this stuff, and also anything else you need for your vehicle or your next adventure. We've got all kinds of stuff over at TrailRecon.com. Next, this stuff is not new, so some of this stuff is dirty, it's a little beaten up, but that's kind of the point. I didn't want to sit here and show you a bunch of flashy new stuff that I've never actually used before. We're going to start with this Front Runner softbox. I'll bet I have 5 or 6 of these lying around in the trailer, in each vehicle. I use the heck out of softboxes. You know, I used to use those hard storage boxes, and those have a place, I think, on the outside of a vehicle. But on the inside of a vehicle, sometimes those, you know, like hard cases can kind of scratch up your seats or mar up the plastic on the interior of your vehicle, whereas a softbox, they're just easier to manage. They're not going to tear up the inside of your vehicle. And the Front Runner one, this thing has just been a workhorse for me. I don't think I leave the house without one of these in the vehicle or several. They have a good durable wall on them. There's a nice lining inside that is easy to clean up because I've spilled in here before. There's a divider that you can move around or just take out completely. It's got little pockets on the side. It's got durable handles. But I'll tell you that I have put just a ton of canned beverages in here, which probably weighs, I don't know, 15 pounds, and I pick it up and it doesn't flinch. These boxes are really solid, and we use these for all kinds of things. Dry goods, food. I'll put clean clothes in one and dirty clothes in the other. I mean, there's just so many options for these. And look, I think I would be happy to get a couple more of these as a gift because I just use them so often. So, soft boxes, yeah guys, these are good to go. All right, we've got 2 recovery items on this list, and I was gonna put a big old recovery bag on here, but I assume that most overlanders and off-roaders have some basic recovery gear like a tow strap and a winch. But I think there's a couple things that, well, I pull out all the time that are pretty invaluable, and one of them is this hinge link. Now, this is from Factor 55, and I use this often for other people, usually, because what happens is most people don't have rear recovery points on the back of their vehicle, but they do have a trailer hitch a good portion of the time. And so you can insert this into the trailer hitch, and then you have a solid place to put a winch or a tow strap or whatever you need to help recover somebody. Now, on my Land Cruiser, there are no winch points, so I will definitely be carrying this, but I have one of these in each of my recovery bags, and probably 80% of the time, maybe even 90% of the time, I'm pulling this out because I'm pulling somebody else out, and so that's why I have this. I like this. It's rated at 9,500 pounds. And I like that it has some rounded edges on here because it allows you to either use a hard or a soft link. And if you're using that soft link, you're not going to tear them up. So this is a good piece of kit. It's easy to carry, it's small enough, and it comes in handy when needed. All right, the second piece of recovery gear that a lot of folks don't carry with them, and that is shackles, soft shackles specifically. And why do I know a lot of people don't carry them? Because almost all the time when we are doing a recovery, somebody will yell out, "Hey, anybody got a soft shackle?" Because these things are just invaluable. I carry about 4 of these in my recovery kit, and I use them all the time. You can see this one here is well used. Now this one is a little larger one from Overland Vehicle Systems. This one's a little smaller one from Max Trax. Having a variety of sizes, of weight loads is really important, and something that I look for in a soft shackle is to make sure that it has something that actually protects the rope. This one has this nice weave over it, this one has a sleeve over it, and that helps if you have to use these on a sharp recovery point, which you try not to do, but I mean, let's be honest, when you're doing recovery situations, sometimes you have to get creative. Now, for years, I used a hard shackle or D-ring like this. These things are great, but they can become a projectile if something breaks, and that can be a little dangerous. But if you are going to use a hard shackle, just make sure that they're certified. So I've seen some out there that are not. But soft shackles are, man, I can't even tell you how many different ways we've used these, whether it was attaching tree straps to other straps, connecting a winch line to a strap. You can find all kinds of creative ways to use soft shackles, and it really is a must piece of kit these days to have in your recovery bag. So in survival, you're taught to make sure that you have food, shelter, and water. Well, in overlanding, you still have to have those basics, and finding a way to carry and store water while you're out on a trip has always been something that I've kind of experimented with, except for the last couple years where I've been using this Dometic water jug. You know, I went through a variety of different shapes and sizes of water jugs, and I just never found one that I really liked, and I kept changing them out, and well, I've been using this consistently. As you can tell, it's pretty scratched up, it's kind of dirty, but it works. Now this holds, I think it's just a little over 4 gallons of water. It's got some good straps on here. It's got a fill cap here, and then this little plate on here is something that comes with the Dometic faucet, and it's a magnet base. Then I just put it right on there. You could put it like in your vehicle if you wanted to mount this somewhere. Now these are sold separately. What I like about this guy is it plugs right in to this thing, and it's USB-C rechargeable, and it's got a little power to it. And so it lasts for a long time, honestly, the charge on here. I charge it up just routinely just because I'm like, well, I don't want it to ever go dead. It's never gone dead, but it's great for washing dishes, for washing your hands. I've honestly taken like a little shower with this. It works well, and it's a good piece of kit. I like how easy these pack, and I've never had one of these leak on me. I actually have, I think I have two of these because I usually want to take about 8 gallons of water. Seems to be the right thing for a multi-day trip, but it's easy to pack these, and you put them in sideways, you can actually put some, you can put some soft boxes on here or something that doesn't weigh much. They just pack really well. That's what I like about them. They're not an awkward shape, and I don't have to worry about them spilling. So I can, without a doubt, highly recommend these. I would encourage anybody, if you're looking for a new water system, this works really well. All right, hopping out here into the driveway real quick, because this is something that I wasn't going to uninstall, but this is one of these nicer gifts that's a little more expensive, or maybe you just need these. And honestly, you can have a couple of these. This is the Red Arc Alpha 150 amp hour battery, and this has been in this truck for almost a whole year. Can you believe I've had the Gladiator for almost a year? This battery has held up to intense heat out in the Southern California. Just sitting out here in my driveway, it gets well over 120 degrees inside this vehicle. Plus, we've had this up in the mountains, up in the Arctic, and it's gone through some really good cold weather as well. This thing has just been a workhorse, powering all my electronics, my fridge. I just love this thing. It's a well-designed battery, and the interface to see how it's charging and how well it charges just works really well. I know there's a lot of batteries out there, but I can tell you the Red Arc Alpha has met my needs, and if you're looking for a battery system, this one's good to go. Next up is something that I'm kind of proud of, and that is the TrailRecon lantern. And we really wanted to come up with something that was kind of an old classic look, but modern day technology and durability. And I've used a lot of different lights over the years, but what I like about this one is, one, it's small. I mean, look how tiny that is compared to my hand. And it's durable. This is not cheap plastic. It's some nice metal with a little cage around it. It's got a USB recharger back here, and you can charge your phone off this if you need to. The battery life on this is excellent. And what I like is we've got a couple different modes here. So you turn it on, you've got a nice warm light that you can kind of turn up a little bit, and then you can keep going and it'll switch over to a white light if you prefer that, and you can turn that up all the way, and then you can crank it all the way up and get both of those on, and gives you lots of light at camp. This is great for cooking by, putting by a table, just having a little ambient light in the tent, out at camp. This is a great, great little piece of kit, and we just really love the way it looks. TrailRecon.com, guys. Having good communication when you're out on the trail with a group of buddies is very essential. And I did a full video a while back talking about the different types of communications. I'll leave a link down below if you want to go check that and learn a little bit more about comms. But I've been using a new handheld radio for about the last 6 months that I actually really like. This is the Midland GXT handheld. This is a GMRS radio. And I've used Midland radios in the past, and one of my frustrations with them was, one, they are a little kind of awkward to charge, and two, the battery life wasn't great. Well, I can say this GXT, the battery life on it is excellent. I can go a full day plus using this, no problems. The range on it has been excellent, and it comes with a nice little soft kit here. But what I like is it has this recharger base that kind of clips on there, and then it plugs into your 12-volt style cigarette lighter, and it makes it really easy to just kind of keep it charged up. You don't have to have this in some kind of awkward base. This is a really nice design. Now, it does have a standard base here with a plug, and there's a USB-C cable that goes in between here, so if you want to just have this sitting out on a shelf somewhere and charging when you're not using it, and then use this charger when you're on the go, or just have it just like this, which is typically what I do. They've done a really good job with making this radio so much better and coming up with a nice functional kit. Yeah, I can highly recommend this one. Next, let's talk about something that nobody wants to talk about but needs to plan for, and that's how do you go to the bathroom when you're out in the middle of nowhere. I've talked about this for years. This is something Regina and I have been using for a long time, and we have tried many different styles of portable toilets. And I can tell you guys, yes, this one is well used, and it has held up to the test of time. I'll bet this one is about 3 years old. The bag that it carries in still works great. I've got everything inside the bag we need. We always carry the extra bags that have the silica gel. They've got double zip ties. We've never had a mess with this thing, but this thing is sturdy, it's solid, it's really a good piece of kit. And you know, I use this all the time, guys. Like, look, I don't mind digging a hole and doing the whole squat thing, but this is so much better. And when it's so small and compact, fits in a little bag like this that you can easily tuck away anywhere inside your vehicle, it just makes sense. Insta-Privy, guys, this one's good to go. Next up is something that I've been using for years, and I would think if you're looking for a small, easy gift for somebody, they would love to have a couple of these. These are the Casey Highlights Cyclone LED lights, and I have found so many different ways to use these. They work well for rock lights. You can put them under your hood so you have a light if you're working on your vehicle, because you know, if you drive a Jeep, you're probably doing that a lot. They work great for the interior of the vehicle. I use these for dust lights. In fact, this one here is their first version of the Casey Cyclone, and I had these on the back of one of my vehicles for well over 2 years. They held up and they kept running strong. When I got rid of the vehicle, I took these off because I'm like, well, I don't want to get rid of these. I can find another use for these. I have so many of these lights, and I'm actually going to be installing a bunch of these on the Land Cruiser here soon, so that's why I actually have a few more. These are a great small LED light. They're going to hold up to the elements out there, and they make a nice little gift. So I suppose it's possible that somebody out there could have all of this stuff or not need any of this stuff, but maybe you still want to support the channel. Well, you can head over to TrailRecon.com and pick yourself up a hat. That's a good way to do that. We got all kinds of gear over there, guys, and I'd appreciate it. And I want to give a huge thanks to our patrons out there for all of their support. I hope you guys are all having an amazing holiday. We've got some great adventures coming up here soon, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. You do not want to miss them. Safe travels.